Dan, and welcome to Gaming Comments, the show where I talk about anything games. And I wasn't planning on doing this. Wasn't really planning on coming back completely like this, not yet at least. Couple days ago, Nintendo had their Switch presentation. I felt like I needed to talk about this. Because if you followed me on Twitter, you would know I wasn't too happy with what they had to offer or what they had to show. The Switch itself looks fine. I'm excited for the Switch itself, but that presentation was just bad. What the hell are you doing, Nintendo? Why couldn't you just make that presentation a direct? You would have been able to get everything just in there the way you wanted to. There was just so much focused on the Japanese market when this is going to be a worldwide thing, phenomenon, whatever the hell you want to call it. If you're going to show this around the world, you have to show games that are going to be for the whole world. Now, yes, all these games are more than likely going to come out to the whole world, but we probably won't see them this year or possibly not even next year. We don't know. There's some games that don't even have titles. Why the hell are you broadcasting this thing all around the world and showing a display of a logo that's not in English or in another language at all, or it's just in Japanese with no subtitle underneath telling you what the hell the game is? You have to look it up afterwards to find out what the hell the game is. But let's get right into it. I made myself little cue cards type of thing so I know what I want to cover. And I want to kind of talk about all the specs of the Switch and my opinions on everything as well. So let's get right into it. First, the console. It's coming out on March 3rd. That's a good thing. We are happy that it's coming out earlier than expected. The internet was abuzz saying that it was coming out on the 17th, but no, it's coming out on the 3rd. What's coming in that box? Let's see. You get the console. You get the dock. You get the Joy-Con left and right controllers. You get 2 Joy-Con wrist straps. A charging grip to put those Joy-Cons into if you want to play like a standard controller. And you get the usual HDMI cable and AC adapter. Now the AC adapter will charge your Switch, and it also plugs into the dock to charge the Switch that way as well. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that there's only one AC adapter, which means I'm going to have to unplug it from the wall if I want to take it with me and charge, or buy a completely separate AC adapter to do so, which you'll find out later is not exactly a cheap thing to do. But yeah, I just wish there was another charging cable or something so we could charge. Especially with the way I have my whole gaming setup. Once it's plugged in there, I don't want to be unplugging it afterwards until I'm ready to take it out completely. Moving on, the console. Let's get into the console. I think it's very impressive. The only thing that I don't like is the amount of memory. Only 32 gigabytes in internal memory. But you can upgrade that with micro SDXC cards, which are standard, very easy to find. You could easily find a fairly cheap one, a cheap, let's see, 128 gigabyte one you could probably find cheap, which compared to what's inside the system itself is pretty big. It has a 6.2 inch multi-touch capacitive screen that displays in 720p. That's the resolution. But if you put it in the dock, it goes up to 1080p. Now the battery life, they mentioned in the presentation, is from 2.5 to 6 hours. And then later looking on the Nintendo website, it says it can go further than 6 hours depending on the game. But expect any major games to probably around the 3-hour mark, because that's what Zelda's going to be. To charge it, it has a USB Type-C, so that will charge faster than especially what the Wii U gamepad had. It does have 3 USB 2.0 ports, which is kind of disappointing. I was expecting at least a 3.0 port, but it is what it is. There's 2, they say on the front, but it's technically the side, and there's 1 in the back as well. What you're going to use those for, considering once you take it off the dock, you're not going to be able to use the USB port anymore to actually run anything. So I guess if you want to play anything like Skylanders, you're going to have to keep it on that dock. And it also links up to 8 systems. And that's good news, I guess. Especially at launch. Are you going to find 8 people to actually play with? I highly doubt it. Knowing Nintendo, you're not going to be able to find one. Just look at the NES Classic. You're not going to be able to find one. If you don't get it day one, if you haven't pre-ordered or are standing as the first few people in line, you're not getting one. Forget about it. Let's move on to the controllers. Now you got the Joy-Con controllers, which are 2 separate controllers that you could turn sideways, which are puny, minuscule little things about the size of this piece of paper. Try playing a little game on that. It's going to be really hard to do. I can't see myself playing like that at all. Maybe I'll give it a try, but I'm not overly excited for that method of play. I'm going to be using the 2 inside a, what is it called? The Switch grip? Yeah, the grip. That's what it's called. And probably the Pro controller. That's my main setup I'm probably use. But the Joy-Cons, you can get them in gray, red, or blue. And the buttons, you got the standard left and right analog sticks. You got A, B, X, Y buttons, the plus minus buttons, L, R, Z, R, Z, L. But the new buttons on it, you got a capture button, so you could grab some screenshots. And they said in the future you'll be able to do video, but for the time being, it'll be screenshots that you can send to various social media. An IR motion camera, which is kind of interesting. They show you could actually hold the Joy-Con up. I believe it's on the right one, and it can actually measure distance with your hand. Rock, paper, scissors they showed. So what they're going to use that for, it's probably the most interesting feature on that controller specifically as to what they're actually going to use it for. I don't think much games are going to actually use it. And they have what they call HD Rumble. And apparently you can sense the amount of ices in a cup as what they showed in the presentation. Or even water being poured into it. And when it's not connected to the Joy-Con grip or actually connected to the sides of the actual Switch, there is an SL and SR button where they usually just kind of snap in. So you can play them sideways and still have those buttons. And the Pro controller is basically going to look like the Wii U Pro controller, but the main difference is it's going to have like the share buttons and whatever. You know what? It's going to be a standard controller, and that's probably going to be the preferable way to play for most people. Let's get on into online. Online is going to be free at first. And then it's going to move to a paid service in the fall. How much that's going to be, they haven't mentioned anything like that. It's going to allow you to play online. You're going to get a free NES or SNES game with online play for a month. Once that month is over, that game is no longer free. You have to buy it. You're also going to get exclusive deals and access to an online lobby and voice chat through a smart device, which is not coming until the summer. So, does that mean you're going to talk into your phone to chat with people? I could just call someone up and do that. Why do I need an app to do that? Why can't it just be inside the system? But who knows, maybe it's just an app on the system. I don't know. It's not clear. From what it sounds like, it's going to be an app on your phone that you're going to talk to people with. All people, whether they decide to pay for the service or not, will have access to the Nintendo eShop. They can register and manage friends, hopefully not through friend codes, share screenshots to social media, and access the Switch Parental Controls app, which basically you control the parental controls. Yay. Why couldn't that be in the system? You need an app, apparently. Now let's move on to the games. Now, in the presentation, in the order that they showed them, they showed a new game, 1-2 Switch, which really doesn't impress me at all. Maybe I need to play it to really be impressed, but to me, that's a game that screams pack in. Pack that into your system because that shows you what you can be using these Joy-Con controllers to do outside the typical playing of games, the standard way, I should say. But no, you're going to have to pay for that. Next was ARMS, which essentially is a boxing game, which not overly impressed, but from what I've been hearing online, it's actually pretty fun, so I'm a little more optimistic than what I was when I originally seen it. Then Splatoon 2, which I'm very excited for. I thought it was going to be a port, like everyone on the internet was saying it was going to be a port. No, it's an actual sequel to Splatoon. Then Super Mario Odyssey. That game is an Odyssey. That's a terrible name. And what's up with Mario and real people? Why couldn't they all make them look like the characters in Mario? They could have still had people in it that looked like Mario characters. It just looks weird. But the gameplay, I can't complain about. It looks fun as far as a gameplay standpoint, at least from what they showed. Then they showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Never played it. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. Then they showed Fire Emblem Warriors, which is one of the games that they just showed a Japanese logo and they had to say it afterwards what the hell it was. Then they showed Dragon Quest 10 and 11 and Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, which are going to be coming. Then they showed Shin Megami Tensei, which was another game. I didn't know what the hell it was. I actually had to look that up online to find out what the hell that was. Then after that, Project Octopath Traveler. Don't ask me. We're just going to go on. Then Sega came out to say they were working on it. Didn't really say what they were working on. Just they're working on a game. Okay, you wasted my time there, Sega. Then Skyrim. Okay, we knew that. It was in the reveal trailer. Then Suda51 came out. Terrible, terrible translator that had no emotion in his voice was translating Suda51, and it was very unimpressive. Essentially, from what I got to it, he's making a game in the No More Heroes universe. Okay. No name, no nothing. Then they showed FIFA. Don't care. And of course they ended the whole thing with Zelda, making it a huge secret as to when it was going to be released. Which, was not a surprise. It's going to be a launch game. But let's go over the launch games. Zelda 1-2 Switch, Super Bomberman R, Skylanders, and Just Dance 2017. That's 5 games. At least that's what they've officially shown on Nintendo's Twitter. And then later in March, there's going to be Snipperclips. Don't know what that is. I Am Setsuna, Has Been Heroes, another one that wasn't mentioned at the press conference. And Fast RMX. I'm assuming it's a racing game. Don't know. On April 28th, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Why the hell wasn't that in the presentation? Then in the spring, You've got ARMS. Then Puyo Puyo Tetris. Rhyme, Disgaea 5. Then in the summer, Splatoon 2. In the fall, Skyrim. In the holiday, Super Mario Odyssey. And then sometime in 2017, you're going to get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Minecraft, Ultra Street Fighter 2, Sonic Mania, FIFA, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Steep, and NBA 2K18. There's more games. A lot of people have announced that they're making games for the Switch, but let's face it, we don't know. It wasn't there. Why didn't you announce these games at the press conference? I'll give a tip to everybody who wants to make a press conference, especially a gaming press conference. Show your game, then fuck off. You can say, this game's being released this date. That's all you need to say afterwards. You don't need to explain the game. You don't need to talk about the game. Show a trailer, boom, leave. If you're not at a point where you have a trailer ready to go, don't show the game. Don't talk about the game. Now we're going to get into a very touchy point for me. We're now going to get into the pricing. And because I'm Canadian, we're getting into the Canadian pricing. The Switch, $400. I can buy a PS4 for $350 and an Xbox One for $380. You're already at a disadvantage, Nintendo. You're higher than your competitors. Joy-Con controllers. For one Joy-Con controller, it's $65. And if you want the 2-pack, which makes sense, you'll want 2 of them, $100. $100 fucking dollars. Let's say you want to get a couple straps with those so you don't flail around and lose them, because that's it. Let's face it, they've got motion sensing on those controllers as well. $10. Okay, not a big deal. $10 for a strap. The charging grip. So you want to turn those 2 controllers into an actual controller. $40. So to turn those 2 controllers, to grab a couple Joy-Cons and turn to an actual controller, it's going to cost you $140. You might as well throw in the other $10 for the freaking straps. The Pro Controller. Hey, that's going to be a cheaper alternative. $90. You can get a PS4 and an Xbox One controller for $75. And you're charging $90 fucking dollars. Let's say you want to play Mario Kart and have a couple racing wheels. $20. That's probably the most reasonably priced thing I've seen on here. Because let's face it, if you want an AC adapter, an extra one, $40 for an AC adapter. Fucking shoot me now. And if you want a dock, well, if you want a second one for whatever reason, you want to hook it up to another TV so you can switch from one TV to another, it's going to be $90 US because the Canadian website does not mention how much it is. So I'm assuming it's going to be about $120. Why do you need an extra dock? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm more worried about the goddamn Switch breaking than a dock. Wow, Nintendo. Wow. You're significantly more expensive than your competitors who overall, the raw power of their console is more powerful than yours. Especially with the PlayStation Pro. Yes, okay, it's more expensive. I expect it to be more expensive. but even a standard PlayStation 4 is cheaper. I love you, Nintendo, but get your head out of your ass. Understand, these are not reasonable prices. Okay, games now up to $80. That's what the price of the Wii U games are. Who cares? I'll pay $80 for Legend of Zelda. I have no problem with that. That game looks like it's worth that. No one has ever complained anything about Legend of Zelda. Unfortunately, I want to play it, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those games that are just too big to actually finish. I hope not, because I'm going to buy it. I really want it. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I want to love you, Nintendo. You're going to be coming out with more announcements, you say, leading up to the launch with more games. Hopefully, you're announcing more stuff I'm interested in, because right now, the only thing I'm interested in is Zelda, Mario, Splatoon, Mario Kart. That's 4 games for the whole year. I know, okay, it's a launch year. You can't expect all these games, but this was a make it or break it situation. You should have threw everything at it. Hopefully at E3 we get some other games. Maybe the rumored Pokemon Stars, but I don't really care about that one. I love Pokemon. I've got it on my 3DS. I don't know if I need Stars right away. What I really like is some other games. Like, I'm not a racing fan, but I love Mario Kart. I love F-Zero. Why not remake an F-Zero game? It's been forever. Why not talk about your virtual console? If you are going to have GameCube games, why not announce that? That's all I got. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter at LunarLightENT. When the hell am I going to post another video? Who knows? But until then, bye.